And so a dramatic stage is set here in the Welsh Principality. Only once before have England won 2 consecutive matches in Cardiff in 1930 and 34. Your match commentators, former Wales captain Eddie Butler and Bill McLaren.
And the national ground here at Cardiff Arms Park is simply buzzing like a beehive at the enthralling prospect of this 99th meeting between Wales and England. Wales with 47 wins to England's 39. Wales keep faith with the bulk of the side who lost to Australia in November. One change in the backs, the restoration to the hot seat of 21-year-old Neil Jenkins. 2 new caps in the front row, Ricky Evans and Nigel Meek. A heavy responsibility on those line-out specialists. Ieuan Evans captain for the 10th time in a row. Stuart Davis leads the pack. England field their most experienced side ever, boasting 471 caps. Those backs claim 70 tries. Brian Moore becomes England's most capped hooker, and Will Carling leads for the 33rd time. And it's also a day to remember, and hopefully for all the right reasons, for French referee Dume from Bordeaux, young for an international referee at 33 and in charge of his first major international. Well, the scene is set. It is the most gorgeous day for rugby football, and in a way it doesn't matter who has won the toss, although you see already England have got up to a surprise move. They've split their forwards and backs. And so Wales aren't quite sure what England are going to do with this kickoff. What an exciting start to the match already. Jonathan Webb ready to kick off for England. As I say, there's no breeze at all, so it really doesn't matter an awful lot which team has won the toss, except that you have the advantage of kicking deep. Jonathan Webb gets the game started. Lovely ball. And that looked like legs taken away in mid-air, and the penalty rightly has been given. In fact, the referee's indicating, yes, that the fellow was up in the air. It looked to me as if it was Richard Webster who went up, and he's been hurt. But certainly the new law is that even in broken play, if you take a man's legs out who's up in the air, then that is a penalty for foul play. Of course, it has always applied to the line-out, and right away Tudor Jones, who succeeded Jerry Lewis as physiotherapist in '84, has tended to Webster, but he's okay. And there's the first kick of the game for Neil Jenkins. Hasn't found touch, taken by Hunter to Webb. Webb very cool and calm, you'll notice, coming nicely off his right foot, and well, making a good start. Jonathan Webb, who had that rough time against the Frenchman. But certainly the conditions today are much better than they were at Twickenham 3 weeks ago. And so Nigel Meek, the new hooker from Pontypool, carrying on the great Pontypool tradition of front row men. And Meek using the tail at the back, but it didn't reach Stuart Davies. Mike Teague got in first of all. Andrew, that's a huge kick into space. Lovely pass from Dowie Morris, but taken there nicely by Rea. Rea, has he made a good catch? Almost, the bounce beat him. That's Rob Andrew. That's the kick into midfield, and Hall has a chance, but he's coming towards the touchline, and Wales have given some intent of trying to run the ball as much as possible, and so there you see Hall didn't actually try to hoof it back. He was looking for a bit of handling attack. This is the Welsh 10 metres line, but the ball had gone forward.
Well, so far, an absolute chapter of errors. Neil Jenkins missing touch. Mike Hall running straight back into trouble. Rob Andrew slicing off the boot. A lot of tension out there.
And so the scrummage on the Welsh 10 metres line. And there you see Hugh Williams-Jones on this side of the front row for Wales, and he's up against Jason Leonard, 2 guys of over 16.5 stones. And that'll be a rare battle there. And you can see already the prop forwards are at it. You get your arm out of the way, he says, and there plenty goes on in the front row that nobody knows about except the participants. The referee often doesn't have a clue either. But England have certainly wheeled the Welsh scrummage. Referee, a curious decision, he decided it hadn't gone the 90 degrees, and the ball being held in on the floor there. Stuart Davis was actually the player who was penalised for not releasing on the floor. Stuart Davis there, the pack leader. Plays for Swansea, of course. And already a stoppage for another injury. It looks, yes, as they're going to go for goal through Jonathan Webb. In fact, it's Dewi Morris who's being tended to for a hand injury. Rob Andrew there, number 10. This Dewi Morris, who of course has a Welsh qualification, born in Crickhowell, went to Brecon High School before going on to Crewe and Alsager College. So Jonathan Webb, now he's done some tremendous scoring for England, of course. He set the record last season for a championship of 67 points, a phenomenal haul. And here he is on a lovely day for goal kicking. Jonathan Webb certainly got the distance. It looks like a very good kick. It's an absolute pip. The touch judges were in doubt, but in fact it was the touch judge on the far side and the far away one, Patrick Robang, who put his flag up, and the other followed suit. That's how touch judges should work. 3-0.
I think the Welsh would have identified John Webb as a weakness in the English side after his performance against the French, but so far they've given him one easy catch and one easy opportunity to put England ahead.
Restart from Jenkins. Winterbottom held, Teague thrown in as well. Stuart Davis trying to work it clear. Nicely back to Webb, and Webb looking very cool and calm under pressure. Pass again nicely from Dewi Morris. In comes Rare on halfway. You notice Rare, the Welsh fullback, jumping for the ball, which is what you have to do in an up and under. This is Jenkins who kicks the ball. That really came off his foot like an artillery shell, but it's gone just a bit too far. Easy for Jonathan Webb. And so a tremendous buzz around the ground, everybody aware of how vital this match is to both countries. Wales at the start of their championship campaign, England thinking in terms of that unique third Grand Slam in a row. Rob Andrew, England's most capped standoff half of all time, playing in his 52nd match today. 51 as a standoff, 1 as a fullback. Jenkins again, that's the Gary Owen. Up goes Scott Gibbs very quickly, up goes Webb that time, and he'll be very pleased about that. His first really nasty ball, and he jumped for it that time, having been caught out against the French when he kept on the floor. Wales penalised at the ruck there.
It was a very good kick by Neil Jenkins, but Scott Gibbs actually doesn't get his timing right. He overruns the ball here. No contact made, and it's a free catch for the fullback.
And so Jonathan Webb making a very good start indeed. Undoubtedly Wales reckoned that they might be able to rattle him a bit after his 3 or 4 nightmares in the French game, but he's a cool customer, and he's come out of those opening 5 minutes or so very well indeed. First shortened line out on the England 10 metres line. Wade Dooley at the back there. Martin Bayfield was at the front. Davis won it well. This is Jones. Jones with that sighting little run of his. Good tackle by Probyn. Lovely quick ball out there to Jenkins. Jenkins looking for touch at the corner. It's a nasty skidding ball. Webb is there. And that was very nicely done by Webb.
Now that was a first-class kick by Jenkins. That wasn't meant to roll into touch. He wanted John Webb to make the touch finder so that Wales get the put in. That was very deliberate by Wales' outside half, and fine play.
Nigel Meek with the throw, and so vital today, and a good day for throwing as well. A fairly dry ball, no wind, so we should get some really good tidy set piece possession. That's the short one at the front, meant for Evans. Jenkins to Gibbs. Gibbs half through. Good tackle initially by Andrew. That's the England 22. Robert Jones waits. Jones, Ieuan Evans. The chip kick meant through there for Proctor, but Webb well positioned and doing a lovely bit of work there by Webb. He might have got his kick away. That's still the England 22. And Proctor tried to kick on, then Morris got the rebound. But again, it's a penalty against the Welshman for being offside.
And that's 3 rucks and 3 penalties against Wales. Good pressure from them, but they're just overdoing it at the moment.
So Jonathan Webb again. Just making sure, because of course England get the throw in. You can see here it was quite an awkward ball for Jonathan Webb initially. That was a nice shimmy by him. Now you'd have thought he might have got his kick away a bit quicker, but Proctor was very quickly onto him, and that was a useful tackle. So Brian Moore with the throw, scales the heights as England's most capped hooker today, his 43rd appearance. England nicely back there from Clark. This is Rob Andrew. He was inside the 22, and that's a useful kick off his left foot that time. Rob Andrew, who'll be 30 years old in 12 days' time, getting on a bit. Grey hairs will be coming along in due course, but still looking very sprightly out there. It's that massive crowd up there in the north stand who get a great aerial view of this throw-in. Beautifully taken at the back by Webster. Webster, who's a brave lad there. That's Robert Jones, half charged down by Leonard. And a penalty this time to Wales for being offside. Peter Winterbottom was caught there, but a very sharp bit of charging down by Jason Leonard of Harlequins.
Again, Webster in the air, taken out as he was catching the ball. That could have been a penalty for the tackle on the man in the air, but Winterbottom was hovering offside.
It is one aspect, isn't it now, Eddie, that if you're going to cope with an up and under, you really have to get off the ground to be sure of it.
That's right, and that came from a long line out through. The whole game now has become one aerial bombardment after the other. The hookers have to be able to throw long and put it on a sixpence. The fly halves have to be able to throw it right up in the air and test fullbacks. And really, we used to think that it was a good catch if the fullback, the defending player, caught it. But now we're expecting chasing centres to go up and catch the ball as well.
Well, a big moment for the second youngest player in the Welsh side, Neil Jenkins. He's just 21, but he's done some great scoring actually in National League play, in the Heineken League play this season for his club, Pontypridd. In 7 games, he scored 79 points, so he's on song. Neil Jenkins. Is it long enough? Oh, it's another lovely kick, and that'll lift the young fella's confidence. Brought back into the side, he ties the score at 3 points all. They've played just over 10 minutes. Pontypridd will be delighted. The crowd are delighted as well. Rob Andrew, lovely high hovering ball. Up there went Llewellyn. Gareth Llewellyn of Neath. Notice there, Richard Webster pulling an arm away to help release the ball. That's Jenkins again with a very high one. Webb is there. Hunter actually came round about him, and a chance here for Hunter to have opened out, but he's gone for the touch kick instead. This is Rare. Rare inside to Ian Evans. Ian Evans still going. It's a lovely kick ahead. Trouble here for England, but Andrew saves it for them.
That was excellent counter-attack by Wales there, and really it all stemmed from Neil Jenkins again, not looking to find touch. Wales wants to do anything bar face an England throw-in at their own line-out.
Stuart Davis is the man calling the shots for Wales. Of course, he's the pack leader. He's second from the tail, and that was meant there for Copsey coming towards the front. In fact, it was Emyr Lewis coming towards the front, but it's worked back from Davis to Jones to Jenkins. Again, a towering up and under. In went Webb for it, hasn't caught it. Llewellyn charging on. That's a great drive by Wales. Referee well positioned, but the bodies were there and hands under the ball.
And the great problem here is that Wales will lose the put-in unless he's given a 5-metre scrummage. Yes, he has, 5 metres, Welsh put-in.
Well, what an opportunity this for Wales. Now, I don't know whether they can shove over England. The actual weight of the patch is very similar, but it's Stuart Davis who went for it, out there to Lewis. Emyr Lewis had broken from the blind side position. And there, Wales have been stopped, and that certainly gives the put-in to England. Well, there you are. There's very little in it. It's all about technique today.
First-class defence by England there. It was very quick ball for Wales. Emyr Lewis positioned himself well, but excellent tackling by England.
Very interesting area this, of course, for Wales, because they do have two new caps in the front row, Richard Evans and Nigel Meek. But look at that drive, they almost got on. England had to work hard to stop it, and the pass goes right over the head of Rob Andrew. But the arm is up for the penalty again.
The penalty was against Richard Webster. That was a 7-man drive.
Jonathan Webb clears. The big lad, 6'2" he is, his 31st international today, England's most capped fullback, and already with 279 points in those 31 matches. So there's Wade Dooley back into the England side after his groin injury, kept him out of France. The control tower of this England line-out. Well, there was a bit of bumping and barging there. Martin Bayfield got a nice little hip that knocked him about a yard sideways. Quite a lot of old stagers there. And of course the two Welsh lock forwards, Gareth Llewellyn and Tony Topsy, who are playing together for only the 6th time, they're beginning to assert themselves. More experience as they go along. And of course with a fellow like Robert Noster as the team manager and one of the greatest line-out exponents, they're improving as they go. Oceans of song here as Hugh Williams-Jones tries to drive in on Brian Moore. He's angled his push in there. Robert Jones in trouble there from Morris. Webster saved it for Wales, just short of halfway. And so that's a plus for England to have managed to stop Wales working that ball away. There's tremendous experience in the England pack there. 248 caps they have to Wales's 56. That counts for a lot. But of course it doesn't take into account the Cymric hoil all around this ground. I mean, the spirit here from the Welsh crowd and the support is awe-inspiring in a way. Neil Jenkins with one of the highest up and unders I've seen, right above the height of the North Stand. Webb beautifully positioned, takes it well, calls for the mark, free kick.
Excellent play by the English players in front of John Webb there. They just obstructed the Welsh in a legitimate way, mind you, Bill, just to give him a free catch of the ball.
What you mean is with an innocent look on their faces, Eddie. Anyway, Jonathan Webb took the tap kick, that's the free kick bit, and then had a free kick to touch.
16 minutes gone, Bill, and England have been in the Welsh half once, accumulated 3 points, and the rest of the time it's been all Wales.
And you sound very excited, David. Nigel Meek then. Good technician, this lad. But that went a bit too far, taken by Ben Clark at the back. Useful ball for England there to win the Welsh put-in. Dewi Morris waits. That's a long one, but Ieuan Evans had dropped back, although the bounce has beaten Rhea. Rhea is so quick, great tackle by Winterbottom on the Welsh 10 metres line. Robert Jones out to Jenkins, Ieuan Evans. Evans, back there was Ben Clark. Evans in on the tackle. And this Welsh team are playing out of their skins at the moment. They really are. And given a great lead there by Ieuan Evans, leading them for the 10th time in a row.
No option for Ieuan Evans but to chip and chase, and that was a good little chip. Gave him the opportunity, the little man, to take on the big man, but the big man was in retreat.
Llewellyn wins it, Jones to Jenkins. Gibbs on the dummy run, out to Hall. 10 metres short of England's 22, caught by Teague. Jones missed out Jenkins, out to Rhea. Rhea the dummy to Proctor, on to Lewis. Great tackling here by England. Winterbottom in again, and Will Carling as well. The drive on by Williams-Jones. Llewellyn is there, kicked into touch there by Hunter, and Wales at the moment are giving England all kinds of trouble.
Well, they're winning all sorts of ball, but that English defence was very good again then. It's very hard to breach this English midfield defence.
So there's the England 22. Free kick at the scrummage there. One of a number of offences at the scrummage now have been changed from penalty kicks to free kicks. Maurice Andrew, he was outside the 22, but it's another huge up and under. Evans can't hold it, Gibbs does. Gibbs is away, chased by Guscott. Gibbs still. Up comes Hall, in there to Hall, Hall past Guscott. A rare chance there as Ian Evans was inside, and Proctor was there too. The two Welsh wings alongside each other. If that ball had gone to hand, Eddie.
Well, you know, Scott Gibbs has been criticised for being blinkered in the past, but here he is looking for what he can do for other people. And just that half-pace foot in touch, good decision by the touch judge.
And a very good tackle by Jonathan Webb there. But Wales still on England's 22. Brian Christopher Moore, ex-Nottingham, now Harlequins, about to throw. Knocked back there by Dooley. Dooney builds the rampart there for England, and Rob Andrew clears. But very, very quick engagement indeed by Richard Webster, who's trying to do a caban on Rob Andrew.
Yes, Webster knows that England must get first hands to their own line-out ball, and he's hovering on that offside line.
"20 minutes of the first half gone, 3 points all, a penalty goal each. But Wales with all the territorial advantage. Robert Jones, Jenkins, once again a high one, could have been a bit further forward. Carling is underneath it, but Scott Gibbs gets it first of all. The Welsh forwards are piling in there, and Rob Andrew has to hurry. The tackle coming in there from Robert Jones, and he almost blocked the Andrew kick. Well, that gives you an indication of how much possession and territory Wales have. They really are in possession at the moment, if I can put it that way, or in control. Number 2 for England, of course, is Martin Bayfield, all 6 feet 10 of him, plus the length of his arms. But it's a great jump by Llewellyn. Through went Teague. Brian Moore, number 2 on the Welsh side, and Wales have won a good ball. This is Jenkins still. Again, another towering up and under. Rory Underwood waits. Took it well. Called for the mark. And a good bit of work by Rory Underwood. I suppose in the past some might have criticised his cover defence work, but that couldn't have been better. That was a wee bit hooky, that one, but at least he's found his touch. Quick throw in by Wales, taking all the chances onto Robert Jones, to Williams-Jones. Drive there by Webster, is powerful Swansea flank forward. Inside England's 22 still, trouble here as it goes out to Emyr Lewis. Emyr Lewis, known as Carwa the Bull, and that was a real bull-like rush, but penalised on the floor for holding on. Emyr Lewis protests, he felt that it wasn't his fault, but it's a penalty to England.
You've accused me of bias, Bill, but 22 minutes now played. Wales in total control, but only 3 points to show for it.
A nicely struck clearance kick there by Jonathan Webb. Just watch this charge. Emyr Lewis, this is what he's good at. He's right back to something like the form of '91, when he was really about the outstanding player in all Wales. So there he is, the big lad from Llanelli, one of the 5 Llanelli players in the side. Drive by Dooley. Taken on by Moore. Morris, Andrew, Carling. Out to Guscott. There's danger here, but he may just have taken his eye off it. Referee may be playing advantage, but it's Andrew once again. It's gone the other way, out to Teague. This is Guscott. Guscott He's got great support there from Clark. Clark, a magnificent run by the big lad. Onto Teague, back inside, and Robert Jones saves for Wales. Well, there you get an indication of what those England backs can do when they get the opportunity and when they tilt their lances. That was a great handling attack by England. And Ben Clark showing why he's preferred to Dean Richards in the England number 8 position. Welsh scrummage certainly looks very strong indeed. But Ben Clark there, what a performance that was. Bishop Stortford club he played for, and also from the college there. Andrew once again. Guscott on the dummy run. That's Hunter coming in. What a tackle by Gibbs. Inside Wales is 22. Stuart Davis pulls fellas out the way. The maul had gone in. It'll be a scrummage.
It's amazing how everything looks so much more fluent from open play. That England there tried to do a set-piece move, and the Welsh defence absolutely solid, just as the English defence has been against moves from scrummage and line-outs.
England went for the shove, but they were held, so they had to turn it, but they've made a very useful ball out from Andrew. Andrew to Underwood, the chip kick. Stuart Davis couldn't hold it, but eventually the clearance again. Yes, by Robert Jones.
That's a great pick-up, Bill. That's what separates him from just a mere mortal scrum halves. Just such great touch in his fingertips.
Special reason for Robert Jones playing really well today. His wife Megan presented him with Emily just a week ago. Listen to the roars of encouragement for this Welsh side. Robert Noster, the manager, asked for this, but it was Beefy who got hands to it. This is Morris. Morris, lovely dummy by him, but another very good tackle by Robert Jones, and Stuart Davies clears. So we've 15 minutes to go to half-time. Still 3 points all, 1 penalty goal each. The 99th game between those two. And Wales have had the best of it. 47 wins to England's 39. 12 draws altogether. But at Cardiff, England have won only 8 times in 32 starts. However, 10 of this England side do know what it is to win an international down here at Cardiff. They played in 91. When England won by 25-6 and ended that awful bogey, which had lasted since 63, 28 years without a win here England had. These twirling scrummages are maybe going to be a bit of a nuisance for the referee, Joël Dume, the 33-year-old. And Wales have broken up the scrummage, and so they're delaying its formation. Andrew, Carling, on there again to Clark. He's such an awkward runner. Winterbottom takes it to within 10-12 metres of the Welsh line. Again the ball killed, and this will be should be Wales's put in if the new law is invoked.
Now that will be disappointing to England, because they had actually breached the first line of defence there, and it should have been easier to set up second phase ball there going forward.
Neil Jenkins is in his own in-goal area here, but there was the pick-up, and well, it was the wrong move, pinched there. Morris going, Morris almost through, he's hit the line, but the referee was well positioned. It must have been just short of the line. If the ball hits the line, that's a good enough try, but it must have been just short. Will Carling comes up to find out what the decision was. Did he make 2 movements? That may be the answer. Dewi Morris, as I say, who could have played for Wales or qualified for Wales, certainly very, very close indeed.
Now then again, Wales losing one against the head. Good work obviously by Jeff Probyn, stopping Nigel Meek having a strike for the ball. Dewi Morris breaking tackles. Now that's a try. That's a try. You're allowed to make a second move if you're going for the line. Fair try, wrong decision.
Yes, I think the important word is immediately. The fact is that if you do something immediately, then it's okay. Now, this is very interesting. I didn't see the referee indicate a try being scored, but this is Jonathan Webb. Looks very easy from here, doesn't it, with no wind. Nice firm pitch, dry ball. Jonathan Webb, yes, easy as pie. What a lovely score for him. 6 points to 3, England lead then, and they've played 28 minutes of the first half. Well, a bit of a hush here at this great ground, because after all their pressure, Wales are behind. Jenkins with the long one this time. Rob Andrew calls. Good return. Rob Andrews still the man in charge at stand-up half for England, although of course being hotly pursued by Stuart Barnes, who's been playing so well as the Bath captain and in the southwest as well. Dooley knocks it back. Dewi Morris goes. The feed back inside to Moore. Dooley pulls a body away. Morris burrows. Andrew hoists. Rear waits. Scott Gibbs goes in. Peter Winterbottom on the wrong side. Robert Jones out to Hall. The pass was behind him. He needed the ball in front of him. That's the kind of awkward pass up on the right shoulder, and Robert Jones commiserates.
It's all changed, hasn't it? That suddenly it's England bombing Wales, and it's Wales scavenging ball away and making mistakes.
Morris fed it out to Teague. Back inside to Clark. Back row move there. This is the idea, suck people in and then feed out to Winterbottom. This is Webb, that's a good move. Meant to go to Hunter, it went to Teague instead. Hunter is with him, the Welsh 22 here. That's Morris with the chip kick through. Back there goes Proctor, and it's Stuart Davis who carries over. It'll be a scrum to England, 5 metres out. The number 8 was the saviour there.
Well, that's a bonus there, because Dewi Morris chipped and there was only Jeff Probyn chasing it, and you don't really expect your tight head prop to be the first up putting pressure on.
Just this stoppage for an injury to one of the Welsh players. Tudor Jones is out there tending to him.
There's it, Jeff Probyn in the winger's position chasing. Now, does Stuart Davis carry this over? Yes, he does.
So a great opportunity for England here. Will they go for the pushover? It's a lovely strike to Clark, out to Morris. Andrew misses out everybody to Guscott. The fullback Webb is in the line. Webb going for it. Lovely bit of saving by Yayan Evans, and what a clearance. Rob Andrew tearing back. Guscott is back with him. The Welsh captain having a very good match indeed, and celebrating the fact that today he becomes the most capped Llanelli player of all time, his 33rd, beating the record of that great forward Phil Davis.
Back row move just to try and tie Wales into the blind side a bit. A little bit slow, a little bit drifty across. And this is first-class work by Evans. Down and up, and then a good kick.
Huge jump by Dooley at the line out. Mike Keegan behind him. And Dooley really got off the ground there. A massive jump it was. This is the referee watching for the offside and advising people. England making inroads now. Morris once again, and he's proving a real handful. Great tackle there by Emyr Lewis. But Dewi Morris there, who remember came from junior rugby with Winnington Park to a cap in 6 months. He really is causing Wales all kinds of trouble round about the edges. 5 tries for England, Dewi Morris in those 13 internationals. Good jump by Llewellyn, but through there went Teague. Teague had Moore with him, feeds on there to Bayfield. Great tackle by Webster. Morris now. Andrew, lovely catch by him, drop goal attempt, wide, rear called, and that's a great clearance with his other foot. Mike Rea, whose father, Alec, played for Cardiff, like father, like son. And father would be pleased with that clearance. About 7 minutes to go to half-time. England leading 6 points to 3. 2 penalty goals to 1. And Brian Moore there has played in 43 of the last 47 England internationals. That's stamina and endurance for you. There was a bit of a push at the line out there, but the referee, I think, indicating that the throw-in wasn't quite straight.
Now then, the last quarter of an hour, the Welsh scrummage has come under enormous pressure and they've lost 2 against the head. They were worried about the effect of Jeff Probyn on the far side of the England scrum next to the referee, turning in and making Nigel Meek's life very difficult. It seems that all the worst fears are now being realised.
We'll be able to have a closer look at that in the second half, of course, but Jeff Probyn is a lad who frightens the living daylights out of every loose head in the country, and hooker as well for that matter, because of his very powerful build and his style. Jones, Jenkins, another spiralling punt but hasn't found touch. Webb, and he just returns the compliment and says to Wales, right, you can put it into touch if you like. Robert Jones is back there, hasn't found touch. Webb still has fed it out to Hunter in midfield. A lot of space here as Andrew goes. Andrew, well tackled by Gibbs, fed it onto Winterbottom, onto Webb. Webb out there to Teague. Teague is in tremendous form. The big Mosley forward. Look at him go. A great chance on the inside for Clark. Clark onto Brian Moore. And that was a magnificent burst by Teague, who really is having a tremendous match for England. And Brian Moore is furious. It wasn't the greatest pass to him in the world, but I think he feels he should have caught it.
And really, it wasn't the greatest bit of defence by Wayne Proctor. I mean, he was outside-stepped there by a wing forward, and really that shouldn't happen.
Deep inside the Welsh 22. And the Welsh scrummage, as Eddie was saying a wee while ago, just feeling the pressure now. Of course, they're up against such an experienced pack who know each other so well and who are renowned scrummagers. Still, that's all right for Wales as Jenkins hoists another high one. Still hasn't found touch. Along to Webb there now. This is Underwood in midfield. Again to Hunter, this big powerful fella. Webb. England playing some good handling rugby here. That's Winterbottom. On there to Clark. Clark to Bayfield, doesn't go to hand. Hunter feeds it back. Morris, this is great stuff by England. Carling from Andrew, out there to Webb. Webb the kick through, meant for Underwood, on the wrong wing. And it's Rare who clears for Wales. And a loud sigh of relief, I tell you, all round Cardiff Arms Park, because that looked very dangerous for Wales indeed.
The score may be 6-3 to England now, but I reckon we're going to end up in the 20s here. This is going to explode in the second half. England on the counter-attack, and suddenly they're the ones looking dangerous in second phase. This is again good defence there by Wayne Proctor, and again Mike Rea, he's having a good game. Ian Evans is having a good game in defence, but the whole of the English three-quarter line is looking threatening.
3 minutes to go to half-time. Wales will be glad to think about it. Here's Morris again through to Winterbottom, the feed on to Teague. Teague once again playing as he did for the British Lions in Australia in '89 when they reckoned he was the best player on the field. This is Carling from Morris. Carling up to the 22. Carling still. What a marvellous run by England's captain. And Rare once again was the man who saved it for Wales. A blistering attack there by Carling. He really scorched the grass on that occasion.
Will Carling in as much space as he likes, thanks to the hard work of Mike Teague, but that is blinding acceleration, and this is unlucky. He very nearly regathers his own kick there. Again, good defence by Mike Rea.
Well, England is close as that. Welsh alarm bells ringing, I can tell you. Brian Moore wants to check with Dowie Morris. Long one to the tail to open up that narrow side, but it's on from Clark. Out there to Guscott with the drop goal attempt off his left foot, and he's done it. Jeremy Guscott with his second drop goal for England. It's 9 points. And Guscott, what a drop goal it was. It was off his weaker foot, would you believe it? And Clark's long pass didn't go to hand initially, but eventually it did. What a lovely little drop goal. And as I say, off the left foot. 9 points to 3. England lead. They've about a couple of minutes to go to half-time. And Wales dropping off to the other side this time. Winterbottom. England playing with cool, calm control and authority. Webb's long kick, taken by Ian Evans. Out to Rea. And Scott Gibbs got in the way there as Ian Evans went on the scissors. Yes, it went forward. And Ian Evans is saying that he called for it. And that's the kind of error that you can't afford in a situation like this against an England side that is beginning to look, well, if not rampant, pretty close to it. Remember Jeremy Guscott scoring his previous drop goal against Scotland at Murrayfield. That one was with his right foot. This one, his left. Referee's lace has come untied. Now the law says that a player isn't allowed time to repair a boot lace, but I suppose the referee is a different category. Pick up by Ben Clark. Winterbottom in quickly. They made the bulwark in front of him. Then it's Andrew. Andrew cutting back to the forwards. Almost through. And Wales in real trouble here, although they're lucky to get that loose ball. Gibbs with the thrust. Robert Jones. Nicely out to Emyr Lewis. Emyr Lewis's chip kick. Up goes Ian Evans. Ian Evans is away. Can the Welsh captain make it? He's going to do it. And it's a try for Wales. And the Welsh captain has scored his 8th and his 33rd international. Cardiff Arms Park is on its feet. They're going mad here. A magnificent try out of absolutely nothing.
Well, it was, but there was simply nothing on here for Wales. I mean, Emyr Lewis had to kick, but look at Rory Underwood. He's got 10 yards and he stops running. Rory Underwood just simply stops running, and that is a gift try for Ian Evans. He is quick, but Rory Underwood shouldn't have made him look that quick.
It was really a super effort by the Welsh captain. That was a very deft little kick from a blindside flank forward. But if you see the pace of Ian Evans here, he's right back to his very best form. And Jonathan Webb just couldn't look at him. And he got downward pressure, and it was a very good try. Well, Ian Evans has scored 9 tries for Wales now. Never won against England. That's his first. It's a joy day for him. Be a bigger joy day for Wales if this young fella, the 21-year-old Neil Jenkins, can slot the conversion and put Wales ahead. Jenkins then. Oh, no problem whatever. Listen to the roar. £10 to 9 Wales lead. We're 1 minute into the break at the interval. Injury time being played at the interval. Rob Andrew. Emyr Lewis again. Look at him take off. He's a great driving forward. And the Welsh pack have got the spirit back again after that. They're back in the match. They know it. And Eddie, that really has changed things a bit, hasn't it?
Well, this is one of the most bizarre halves I've ever seen of international rugby. Wales on top for half an hour. England totally on top for the next quarter of an hour. Wales breakaway. It has been very strange.
Very exciting, though. This is a splendid international. Morris hoists a high one up the narrow side. It's meant for Ian Hunter, the big fella from Northampton.
That was a good kick. That was a good kick, landing a foot outside the 22.
Knocked forward as they jumped up, and you can see the territory in possession has levelled out a bit more. Wales still have the advantage in territory in that first half hour. They played three minutes of injury time at the interval. And the whole ground is abuzz, I tell you. Got some fun in store in the second half, I'm sure. Good channeling by Wales, although they have been twisted round again, and that makes it difficult for Robert Jones. Notice Dowie, Morris hanging over the end. Ben Clark broke a little bit early. I think he broke his binding a bit early before the ball was out, but the referee has decided that it was knocked forward, and England will get the put in now. Robert Jones was annoyed about that. So, Teague has broken. Gets it from Morris, on there to Clark. Clark, half caught by Emyr Lewis. Loud blast, there must have been somebody interfering there. Actually, if you handle in a ruck, it's a free kick. But if you prevent fair clearance in a ruck, that becomes a penalty. And so this is one from which England can kick straight for goal. And that's exactly what they're going to do.
Well, that's just what Wales didn't want, of course, to allow England back into the game. And we're 4 minutes into injury time now. Half-time must be coming up straight after this.
Jonathan Webb has scored 282 points for England in his 31 international. 4 of them tries, and he scored 242 points last season. And this is just the kind of day for him. Lovely view there from the Taff end here, and at the west end of the ground. Jonathan Webb to put England ahead. I think he's pulled it. Yes. Rhea made the catch. The referee blows for half-time, and that really has been a sizzling half. And it arrives with Wales leading by 10 points to 9. A thrilling half of give and take. Wales maybe a little bit fortunate. England might have made more of the possession they had, but certainly there it is, 1 point to Wales at the break. Neil Jenkins gets the second half going with that long one up to Rob Andrew. Andrew to Rhea. Rhea has Robert Jones there. Still very awkward indeed. Up went Hunter. That was a lovely catch by the big wing. Ian Hunter of Northampton, who scored 2 tries on his debut against Canada and another one against France 3 weeks ago. And he's listed at 15 stone 5, and he's quick with it. He's the fellow who won all the endurance tests when England were in Lanzarote, so he can last the pace as well. Referee Joël Dume insisting on the metre down the middle. That was Llewellyn at the back, but Ben Clark went in and saved that for England. Morris to Andrew. Andrew saw huge space, and Rhea is having to run right across to his own 22. He waits till it goes in there to allow him to kick direct into touch, and that's a good return.
England entered this match not really knowing that much about Wales, but now they seem to have conquered the line out. They're certainly exerting pressure on the scrum, and the less set-piece ball Wales gets, the harder their task.
There's Martin Bayfield, all 6 feet 10 of him, like a telegraph pole at the front of the line out there for England, and an awkward fellow really for the other team to throw in against, but this time it's Brian Moore throwing, and it was meant for Bayfield. Got through there went Nigel Meek. Referee's playing advantage. It's Probyn who drives on. Probyn caught by Jenkins. In comes Morris. Andrew, there has to be a chance here as Clark goes. Ben Clark, what a game he's having at number 8. Within 10 metres of the Welsh 22. Out there to Teague. Teague on to Guscott. Guscott has support outside there from Underwood. Teague was in there again. And Wales in disarray here, having to paddle back very quickly. Look at the backs lying as flat as they can, anticipating England winning the ball. And Emyr Lewis and Richard Webster was out there as well. That's what Dick Best, the England coach, has been on about. He feels that nowadays there are too many forwards standing off the broken play situations, and it's making it very difficult for midfield players to operate.
Again, that scrimmage going down, and really, Jeff Probyn does turn in and he bores across. and that's illegal, but as long as the scrummage stays up, he gets away with it, and now the scrummage is going down, he may well penalise Wales rather than England.
Free kick for, that looked as if Robert Jones was penalised for not putting it in straight. Scrum halves don't put it in straight nowadays. But it's England going for the tap free kick. Brian Moore taking it. Dewi Morris is the link man, and there it's out to Andrew. Carling, Guscott, Guscott with space. Across there comes Richard Webster. Up there went Hunter. Pass inside, a little bit awkward for Peter Winterbottom. Wales will get the put in. There's Peter Winterbottom, England's most capped forward of all time, his 56th international, and there you can see it was a dummy move to the forwards and then out to the backs. Carling feeding out, and Guscott had chance here, but he kicked for Hunter and it wasn't really far enough forward, and Richard Webster helped for Wales. Jenkins clearing.
England are having more and more put-ins and more throw-ins, and this means that the pressure is mounting all the time on Wales.
Meant for Dooley, and a lovely clean catch for him. The interception by Copsey. Welsh forwards got there well. Robert Jones had an awkward ball there. Referee deciding the ball was clear. England have won a useful one to Andrew, to Carling. Carling having a go, caught by Gibbs, fine tackle. Fed on there to Morris, he's caught. And all kinds of knocks on and bodies in the way.
It's just like the start of the first half. There were so many errors that we've seen turnovers, players losing possession to the opposite side 3 times in the first 3 minutes, and really you don't expect to see that often.
So I think Robert Jones was hurt there. You notice remember he got a very awkward ball indeed. And as you can see there, Tudor Jones and Mark Davies, who remember got 3 caps for Wales back in 81-82, tending to him. Robert Jones, who's captained Wales 5 times, and here's the situation when England won a ball that maybe they shouldn't have won. Along to Carling. Watch this tackle by Gibbs. He knocked the arm down and put in a lovely tackle. That was Rob Andrew feeding back, but Hall was up very quickly indeed on Morris. Ben Clark almost got it away again, but it went forward. Happily, Robert Jones is all right. His 44th international today. He's 5th in the list of the world's most capped scrum halves. Farr Jones 59, Derbyshire 56, Gareth Edwards 53, Roy Laidlaw 47. And Robert Jones there with his 44th. No, this will be very interesting. We'll have a close look at this front row of Wales.
Nigel Meek is finding it very difficult just to get his foot out of its resting position to strike for the ball.
Good strike though by Nigel Meek, that, and they've channeled it well across to the number 8 Stuart Davis. Dewi Morris, I think, got a foot in front there. Referee playing advantage. Robert Jones, his high kick landing on halfway. Up there went Scott Gibbs again, taken by Teague, out to Webb. Andrew. Carling couldn't hold it. Referee saw it. It was knocked forward. Chance for Wales. Will Carling there. His 33rd captaincy, his one behind Jean-Pierre Rive, who captained France for 34 times.
It's not just the dropping of the ball, there was a 3-to-1 overlap on there. I'm not sure whether it actually went backwards.
Stuart Davis to Jones, to Gibbs. Lovely little chip kick through for Ian Evans. And it's inside England's 22. Ian Evans really fired up today.
It's one of those one-on-one situations, and Rory Underwood is looking anxiously over his shoulder every time Ian Evans comes up behind him.
31.
You might have heard the code word there. Nigel Meek having a little chat with the referee, Joel Dume. Moore's throw, the knock back by Copsey. Robert Jones. Goes into the haven of the forwards. Wade Dooley lends his bulk as a block. The Welsh forwards driving. Stuart Davis taking it on. There's a chance now from Jones to Jenkins. Jenkins, the high, cross the forwards, Gary Owen. Hunter tries to get it for England. Now it's Rob Andrew. The feed out to Webb. The whistle is gone. Knocked forward. A Welsh scrummage in front of the England posts. Well, the ground is buzzing again, as you can hear. Everybody identifying so closely with what goes on out there. Stuart Davis holds it in. They were looking for the penalty goal attempt. Stuart Davis feeds to Robert Jones, to Jenkins. Jenkins, the switch out there to Mike Hall. They weren't expecting it. The kick on there. Yes, Wayne Proctor with the chip, but it went straight out. And the Welsh backs there were caught out by that.
I think they were looking for the drop goal. Neil Jenkins standing right behind Robert Jones there. Delayed by the number 8 picking it up, and then he's on his left foot.
So Tony Copsey's had a lick down there. There he is, the big lad who could have played or could have been qualified for England.
It's not a bad idea for suddenly for Wales to just call a little time out here and have a think. Look, we've been in a good situation and we've blown it, but we've got to stay in this section of the field and we've got to score points.
Tony Copsey there, who's the first rugby international from the old Edwardians club down in Romford in Essex. He's a former pupil of the St Edward's Comprehensive at Romford. But he's been down in Wales at the South Glamorgan Institute of Higher Education for the qualifying period of 6 years, and well, he's doing well. 6th international. Tony Copsey has Emir Lewis just in behind him there. Big jump by Bayfield, and a penalty there for going through. Yes, going through too quickly. It may have been against Nigel Meek. They're anticipating England winning their own ball, and so Meek's going through sharply. Of course, you're a bit unlucky if the referee catches you. Jonathan Webb, safe again.
Clearance by John Webb there, but the line-out was crucial. And it's interesting to see, under pressure now, England look for Bayfield rather than Dooley at the line-out.
Wade Anthony Dooley, you always feel he should have been the Sheriff of Tombstone with a name like Wade Dooley, but there he are, he's knocked back, puts Morris in trouble, and Moore got his foot to it, but there was a bit of obstruction. Yes, Morris, I think, was tackled without the ball. Joe Dume is keeping a very good atmosphere out there, and the game is being played in very good spirit indeed. Good to see for a young referee from France. And Jonathan Webb prods England back up towards the Welsh 22. And from there, of course, Eddie, it's a long way back upfield again, isn't it?
Yeah, if there's one person who won't lose his cool out there, it's Jonathan Webb. He came through his ordeal against France, and he could yet turn out to be the key man in this game.
So, the Welsh 22. Code words being shouted about. Bayfield almost managed to make a clean catch, didn't quite. That's Morris going through. He did that a couple of times against France, boring through the line out. Now it's out from Moore, out to Carling. That's Hunter in the line. Another magnificent tackle there by Scott Gibbs. He's put in 4 or 5 crunching tackles that have been so important for Wales. But the England forwards waxing stronger. Dewi Morris points, it's in there, he shouts to them. Get him out the road. Morris, Andrew, and Andrew once again, as he's done so often, prodding for position, prodding for territorial advantage, prodding for pressure. And the pressure is certainly all on Wales at this moment.
As the game goes on, Bill, we're entering a period about which Wales knows practically nothing. England have been in these last 20 situations before, coming from behind. They do not flat.
That's all about experience, of course. England with their 471 caps. A well of experience to call on. They've been through it all before. They've been in the World Cup final. They've won 2 Grand Slams. But can Wales dent that faith? Listen to the roars. Llewellyn again did well. That should be a good ball indeed for Robert Jones. And England were offside on the far side, and so it's a penalty to Wales, and they'll be glad about that.
That was a very important bit of line-out work by Gareth Llewellyn there. Of all the Welsh forwards, he's served the longest apprenticeship, and now he's come through it, and he really is a very sound player.
And that big fella you see in the middle of the picture there is Paul Cowlock, who's the Cardiff back 5 forward, just ready to come on if necessary. Tremendous force he is. He's 18 stone 1, father Polish extraction, all set to win his first cap, he hopes. Good by Stuart Davis to smuggle that ball out to Robert Jones. That's an awkward one. Webb takes it outside the 22, no chance of a mark. The red jerseys there in numbers, but Morris has won it to Andrew, and Andrew once again realising the space. It's Rob Andrews' vision. He's like Campese, isn't he, Eddie, in the way that he places the ball?
Yeah, it's not so much his vision, it's just the fact that he's putting his foot on the ball like a sort of Brian Robson, saying stop, stop the speed and stop the lunacy, stay down there.
And down there is inside the Welsh 22. Nigel Meek of Pontypool. His first cap today, former captain of Ebbw Vale. And his throwing in hasn't been bad at all. Robert Jones with a high one. Rory Underwood waits. Took it well on halfway. Out there to Webb. Webb again, looking for space, and finds it over the top of Gareth Llewellyn, but Robert Jones is back there. That's a good return off his left foot. It's great to see so many players nowadays who can kick equally well with either foot. A lesson for the young fellas.
That's 3 times England have said, right, let's get down to that left-hand corner. It's the natural kicking side for a right-footed player, and 3 times Wales have got out of it.
So England go to a 2-man line-out. Back there to Morris. Morris, who's been going through the line-out so well, caught there by Gareth Llewellyn, and it's Llewellyn who gets up and battles his way forward. Great stuff by the 23-year-old, and a penalty against Jeff Probyn for being offside. He thought the ball was clear.
I think Gareth Llewellyn, in my estimation, has just gone from being a very sound player to a very fine player. He made the tackle on Dewi Morris, he was back up on his feet, snatching the loose ball up, and now Wales have a chance to relieve their pressure.
There's Gareth Owens Llewellyn, who's captain of Neath this season, just 23, young to be a captain, but of course with the experience behind him of 13 international appearances. Jenkins with the touch kick up to halfway. Well, there you are. Wales have won 73% of their own throws, England 69. Nigel Meek was practicing his throwing at the training session on Thursday. Morris to Andrew to Carling. Carling, long kick, looking for touch at the corner. Rhea did very well. Lovely little balancing act there, and what a return. The local club will be delighted at the way this fella's playing. 27 years old, his 6th international. Once scored 28 points in a match in Namibia for Wales. Going well. The referee's assistant, Patrick Robin, had a word there with Brian Moore and was actually telling him to that he's got a cut head. Ah, yes, and the law now is that if you're bleeding like that, you must go off the field to have it tended and covered up. One of the catches, and there's one of the most competitive players in the whole of England, Brian Moore. And a nice bit of work there by Patrick Robin, the touch judge. who saw that and, of course, knew the law. So they're 10-12 metres outside the Welsh 22. Loud blast there. And are they, yes, a free kick, I think, for closing the line too early. Keep your metre spacing until the ball is played, he's saying. I think he's saying that. Andrew, Carling, along the line to Winterbottom. Winterbottom to Clark. Clark, dumped again, but it's Morris once more. A chance here as Carling goes. Out to Andrew. Andrew, beautifully tackled by Llewellyn on the Welsh 22. A third good ball there for Morris. There's a lot of Englishmen out there. Winterbottom out there to Clark. Lovely there from inside from Webb. That's Dooley charging on. Winterbottom going in. Morris once again tackled by Ian Evans. A drive by Bayfield, but he didn't get the ball down. There were hands underneath it. A very fine attack indeed by England. Forwards and backs, total rugby it was. And the huge man Martin Bayfield denied at the last minute.
Well, England should have scored. They had a 5-2 overlap there. Wade Dooley does well. He sorted it out by being the only man that ran on straight. Dewi Morris, fine game he's having. Gets the pass in here. That's so important. Now then, Bayfield, 3 men take him out. And yes, they've stolen the ball there. Good refereeing.
I'm not so sure that it wasn't Neil Jenkins who nicked the ball away from him as well. But in any case, it's still the panic button here for Wales, but it's there put in. The referee hasn't brought them out. I don't think the full 5 metres. They could have come out a bit yet and given him more of a blind side. You see, they're well inside the 5 metres area there. And for Robert Jones, he would have been happier with the scrummage much further in to have given him more room for the kick. Referee deciding that the scrummage should fall in. The ball wasn't going to come out. Actually, they're supposed to blow as soon as the scrummage goes in, but sometimes if referees feel there's no danger involved, they tend to let it go for a little bit. We're into the last quarter, the last 20 minutes. Wales still hanging on to this 10-9 lead, and of course with the joy of having scored the only try of the match so far by their captain Ian Evans. Of course, Wales will have to watch they don't give away a close-range penalty here by letting the scrummage go down. But Richard Evans has held his own well there against Jeff Probyn. And Robert Jones gets the kick in. Winterbottom waits and is knocked over there by Mike Hall.
And Wales get the throw-in. That's a vital bit of defence by Mike Hall. Well done, Peter Winterbottom. But Hall and Gibbs have tackled their hearts out for Wales.
Wales so keen to get this throw-in and catch done to a tee. Copsey did a good bit of shoving through there. And good rescuing, I think that was by Emyr Lewis. Robert Jones again. And Wales have survived. Those were 2 awkward moments for them. But they've got themselves out of the danger area.
It's strange, isn't all the dangers in that far right-hand corner of the field.
England again to the 2-man, Bayfield and Dooley, against Llewellyn and Copsey. With Emyr Lewis at the back there as the scrum half. Emyr Lewis, but he can't stop this fella Morris. What a magnificent run this is by Morris! And a very high tackle. And he's got to within a metre of the line. The drive by Peter Winterbottom. Referee beautifully positioned to see. He actually shoved the Welshman out of the way so as he could go and see whether the try was scored by Winterbottom. But what a superb run by the England scrum half.
Another surging run, a missed tackle there, but Dewi Morris all afternoon, a good handoff there, changed the ball over, brilliant game. I may point out, but of course he's a Welshman really.
Actually, it was Mike Rare coming across who went in with what I thought was a slightly high tackle, but it certainly saved the day for Wales. But what a game Dewi Morris has had. He's very much an extra flank forward of the type, and he's immensely strong. And of course he's got a handoff which he uses as well. being tended to there by Kevin Murphy, who's a department head of physio at the Dume Hospital in Manchester, former Sales stand-up half. But the crowd there are raising their voices again. There's still only 1 point in it. Remember, Wales have lost their last 3 games to England, 24-0, 25-6, 34-6. And here's Richard Evans on this side against Jeff Probyn. He was 4th in the Wales' strongest man competition, and he's got a good straight back there. That was good scrummaging by Richard Evans. He's getting a bit of his own back here. But England holding in through Ben Clark. It was pinched there, I think by Stuart Davies, was the man who pinched it. No, in fact, Stuart Davies was standing off at the side. So the chance again for England from the offence kick. And England once again going with the tap free kick. Brian Moore once again. Dewi Morris the link. And that was meant for the Webb this time to Ben Clark again. Ben Clark, who's big and very fast. But the Welsh defence standing the strain. Here's another attack coming. Morris. Rob Andrew, a chip kick through. And a very good bit of covering indeed by Emiad Lewis, who gets a pat in the head from Mike Hall. Carwydd the Bull has saved Wales. Llanelli will be chuffed as well. A big blindside flanker making a mark in that kind of situation. Oh, look at that! A big fella who was in the Llanelli side who beat Australia in November.
Treasure this moment, Carwydd the Bull. A neat little chip, perhaps a little bit too far. Both feet on the ground, not quite. Oh dear.
No, but he's all right, because you can make a mark with 1 foot on the ground now, so he's quite safe. And what a clearance it was by Lewis. Listen to the roars. Morris again to Andrew. Carling to Guscott. Webb's in the line, there's space here. Webb going all the way through. Dragged down by Rea, and that's not enough forward. Rea kicking on. Back goes Guscott towards his own 22. Guscott with Ben Clark alongside him. Guscott all the way. What a counter-attack by England's centre. And that was a thrilling bit of play. Guscott hurt there as he was charged into touch. And the referee has given the penalty. He decided that it was illegal. We'll have a look at that again. It was a wonderful counter-attack. First by Wales through Mike Rea, and then by Guscott. Just watch this.
Well, it suddenly opens up for England after they've been in terrible trouble, the Mike Rea breakout. Now then, this is clearly a late tackle here. He kicks left-footed, and it's 2 seconds afterwards.
Ian Evans having a word with the referee, Joel Dume there. But certainly it's a penalty to England and a real chance for Jonathan Webb. Now, one of the aspects of the Welsh Rugby Union's approach to the game has been a kind of charter for their spectators. Be a Sport it's called, and it lists 8 points of sporting behaviour in the programme. I think because a lot of Welshmen were disappointed by the attitude of some of the crowd, a small minority, at during the Australian tour. And so, as Jonathan Webb lines up this kick, hopefully he will get fair treatment. Bit of whistling, nothing terribly serious at the moment. Jonathan Webb to put England ahead. It's certainly high enough. It's hanging up there. It comes off the post, and Webster has it for Wales. Webster trying to feed out, taken by Hall. That's the Welsh goal line. England have been penalised. Richard Webster is thrilled. England round on the wrong side and blocking it. What a relief for all Wales.
Well, you know, England had a bit of luck against France, and it just seems today that maybe the luck may be going against them.
It was a lovely kick, really. There was so little in it, and the bounce almost beat the whole of Wales, but not Webster. So the Welsh have cleared it up once again to a reasonably safe area, and that's the big fella who certainly dealt with that awkward ricochet. Webster of Swansea. We've 12 minutes of the match to go. It's 10 points to 9 for Wales. Can they gain their first win over England for 3 years? Or will England go on to their hope for Grand Slam? Llewellyn again with a jump at the front. Robert Jones, Jenkins. That's a huge kick, but it's gone much too far. Webb has a lot of room and time. This is Rory Underwood. On to Webb on the scissors. Webb outside to Hunter. Another thumping tackle by Scott Gibbs. The 22-year-old has performed wonders in the tackle and given some marvellous examples of copybook stuff.
I don't think Wales fear England on the counter-attack. They fear them at the line-out on their own throw-in, but they don't fear them on the counter-attack.
You see, they were on the scissors move, and Jonathan Webb thought of kicking, but then he saw Hunter on the outside. But that was all embracing. Scott Gibbs, the Welsh hero, there. Wales echoing round this famous Cardiff Arms Park ground as Llewellyn goes again for it. Lewis goes down to save, did well to get to his feet and stay up there. That was a fine bit of play by Emyr Lewis. Jones to Jenkins. Jenkins high again a little bit too far, but Underwood takes it out to Webb. Webb to Guscott. There is space here. Guscott over halfway, beautifully caught there by Webster. A loose pass there as Stuart Davis goes down. Ball knocked forward. They're on halfway.
It's not happening for England at the moment. They're going through the kicking game, and now they're going through the passing game, and it's just not coming off.
They've 10 minutes to find the solution. Wales have 10 minutes to hold out. Jones, Rear going for a touch at the corner as it bounced in play. It has indeed. Alan Cook, the touch judge over there, and Mike Rear, who has covered himself with plaudits today, surely. There you can see England territory in this second half, but possession, there's a surprise. They're 10 metres outside England's 22. Wade Dooley gets up once again. Probyn does the sweeping of the line out. He's caught by Emyr Lewis and by Webster. In there went Stuart Davis on the side. Referee deciding it was held. England took it in. And Dick Best dislikes that law very much. It certainly is one of the experimental laws, so it could be taken out of the law book.
I'm just noticing the referee having to calm a few Englishmen down there.
A loud blast for deliberately collapsing. But it's deep inside English territory. That's Richard Evans, the new loose head prop. Royal Engineer for something like 15 years and now a fireman at Haverfordwest. And Jonathan Webb, cool and calm, strokes it deep into Welsh territory once again. Jonathan Webb, who went to the Royal Grammar School up at Newcastle, coached by John Elders. The crowd here absolutely tense with excitement. But 9 minutes left to go, still the 1 point between them. Last Welsh win against England, 1989, here at Cardiff. Remember when Mike Hall scored your kick-through try? 8 minutes now left. Moore's long throw, and through once again. Wales rescuing ball on the floor. Referee is indicating a hand, but oh no, he feels it was knocked forward on the floor and not that somebody handled in the ruck, which is a free kick nowadays. So England have Jonathan Webb up in their three-quarter line as an extra centre on the outside. Hunter is outside him there. You have Carling and Guscott. Carling always on the inside, of course, next to Rob Andrew. And there's Jonathan Webb coming into view now. Wales got a bit of a shove on. Ben Clark with the pickup, Teague driving. Wade Dooley in there working it clear. Wade Dooley was the man who won that ball for England. Probyn feeds out to Andrew, to Carling. Carling caught, but he's so powerful, but Carling put on the floor. And a loud blast for holding in on the floor. It's a penalty to Wales, 10 metres inside their own half.
It's Carling's hands, and I mean, they're normally so safe, and I just think it's a sign that England are starting to get a little bit desperate. Good tackling again by Wales.
4-2 in the tackle there. Now then, Neil Jenkins will need a big howitzer thump here, but he's certainly given it. He blasts this ball, this young fella. He really does. He's a very good footballer. He doesn't look like the normal Welsh stand-up half. They're like quick little ferrets. He's tall and angular, but he's got all the skills, and he's stayed very cool today as well. 21 years old. Princess Diana there, obviously enjoying the excitement of this great occasion. Lovely royal occasion it is. And those last 7 or 8 minutes are going to have people biting their nails here. Another great jump by Llewellyn. He has done well at the front for Wales. And the Welsh may feel that things are going their way, that they maybe can create what some would regard as a miracle. Still a bit to go though yet, but they've won a useful ball to Robert Jones. Jenkins, that's a very good one. It's landing just inside the 22. It's miles up. Scott Gibbs is up there. Proctor has it for Wales. The red jerseys all gathered like bits of metal to a magnet. Look at them working it clear. Tremendous battle for that ball, and it's Stuart Davis who gets it, but he's holding on. Yes, the other fellas didn't realise that Stuart Davis had got through and had won the ball, and when he went on the floor he realised the support wasn't there that he needed, and he held on fractionally long, but it was a good bit of robbing just the same. Jonathan Webb with the clearance kick to halfway. 5 minutes of the match to go. Wales 10, England 9. It's boiling over here at Cardiff. This is the 33rd game at Cardiff between those two, and Wales have won 22 times to England's 8. Only 8 England captains have led a winning side here at Cardiff. Will Carling did it 2 years ago. Bayfield, Morris, Andrew, Carling, out to Webb. Hunter is in the line, out to Rory Underwood. Rory Underwood, tackled there by Ian Evans. Webster with the interception. And the Swansea flank forward that some people think isn't fast enough, certainly was fast enough there. He's a pugnacious fellow as well. 4 minutes of the match left, still 1 point in it, in Wales's favour. England clipped to 2 again. And it's taken by Copsey. Copsey onto Stuart Davis. Nigel Meek is in there. Hugh Williams-Jones pulls the body away. Robert Jones keeps the pressure on. In goes Webb. A good catch by him. And Teague is there to help him as well. Probyn too. Now there's a chance for England as Andrew goes. That's a huge kick, and Mike Rare has a long way to go back, almost to his own 22. There's the return, almost up to England's 22. Taken and fed out by Winterbottom to Webb. Webb to Underwood. Underwood to Hunter. Hunter is 15.5 stones. It doesn't matter much to Wales. Webster with the tackle. Proctor helping as well. They've 3 minutes to go, and it's a penalty to Wales for action on the floor.
Now that sums up the game for me, Bill. Ian Hunter, the most potent threat in the English three-quarter line, cutting loose after a counter-attack by England in the last 5 minutes of the game, tackled by 4 Welshmen.
As Eddie hints there, the Welsh defence has been magnificent, and it's been spearheaded by Scott Gibbs in the centre, with those crunching tackles that he's done. Hunter is hurt. And listen to the sound. Listen to the roars of encouragement all around from this near 52,000 crowd.
Perhaps England's last chance. Rory Underwood, left wing to right, and now here he goes, 15.5 stone. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I think there's going to be a penalty to England, because after that somebody came in and stamped on Hunter.
Ian Hunter certainly is leaving the field, and so there will be some excitement down there. Philip de Glanville might be brought on, as he was for the South African match when he replaced Tony Underwood. But certainly for the moment, Ian Hunter is out of action, and Jonathan Webb prods England up towards the Welsh 22. Now, of course, again, it's England's throw-in from that lovely kick by Webb. We've under 2 minutes of the match to go, plus a bit of injury time. England still down to 14, and indeed it's Philip de Glanville of Bath who's coming on as replacement for his second international. Played in the cup final of '92, and there's plenty of experience in the B team. On there goes Ben Clark. He's caught by Webster. England from Morris to Andrew. A chance here as Carling goes. Carling still, the England captain, within 5 metres. Caught by Jenkins and caught by half of Wales. But there is real panic here for the Welshman. And a great effort by Will Carling in his 33rd captaincy of Wales. He almost got through. We're into the last minute of actual playing time. England feeling that they've got to get that score to hold their Grand Slam hopes alive, the unique third Grand Slam that they seek. Wales desperate to deny them and start their championship campaign with a win. Meek throws and held it back well. Meek again goes down. England's forwards piling in, but a penalty there to Wales. We're going into injury time now. That penalty was obviously for a deliberate bit of something which I personally didn't see. And it's Neil Jenkins with the kick, and he's made it a good one. He had to make sure not to give England anything to run back at Wales there. And so he's put them up to the 22, the 21-year-old who's played so coolly and calmly throughout, amidst all the tension of this great occasion. Philip de Glanville has stayed out on the right wing where Ian Hunter was. Lovely catch there by Emyr Lewis. Nicely to Jenkins. Jenkins clears. It's another whiz-bang of a kick. The whole of Wales is rising to the young standoff from Pontypridd. Minute of injury time gone. Everybody's flapping out there. The whistle goes for the end of the match. And Wales have won an incredible victory. And look at the scenes of joy and euphoria out there on the field. The police having to go there to try and stop the crowd tearing onto the field. And the players are being absolutely mobbed. Nigel Meek is over the moon. That's the score that has shattered the rugby world, surely. Wales have done it, and the scenes here are quite unprecedented. Scott Gibbs there, who made so many wonderful tackles for the Welsh side. They're absolutely overjoyed, and Eddie, as a Welshman, you too must be thrilled with that performance.
That was a marvellous display by Wales in defence, up against the odds in the second half. A quite fantastic display of defensive rugby. I have to say, though, Bill, that England, just as they did in 1990, have themselves to blame. Rory Underwood really let Wales score the only try of the game by just giving up on a straightforward chase. And also, I must say that the try in the first half that was disallowed for Dewi Morris was a try and should have been awarded.
I tend to agree with you about Eddie, but I'm sure that you must be thrilled at the way the front row stuck in, because it looked early on as if they were going to be taken apart.
They started off, the Welsh team started off in the first half absolutely brilliantly. They dominated the side as no Welsh side has done for the last 5 years. Then England took complete control. Wales scored the breakaway, and then for the rest of the second half, for the rest of the last 50 minutes of this game, Wales were on their heels, but it was an outstanding performance in defence.
And just a word about Neil Jenkins, Eddie. You know, a 21-year-old, he was brought into the hot seat. So important for him to succeed today, and surely he did.
Yes, indeed. He's a very, very quiet, softly spoken, introverted personality. Today, he came out of himself. He was calm, he was assured, and his kicking was precise, and it was long.
Lovely feelings there as we look up to the Royal Box and Princess Diana, the Princess of Wales, absolutely overjoyed at this tremendous victory by Wales. And there's the story, as you can see. I've never known a scene like this at Cardiff Arms Park in all the 40 years I've been coming here. There are thousands of people out in front of us here. Look at them, and they're singing and cheering and bawling. They're actually looking for a run of triumph from the team, although I'm sure they won't do that. But all Wales is absolutely overjoyed at this. And spare a thought, of course, Eddie, for the fact that England have had this great thought of theirs for a Grand Slam dashed from their hands.
At some stage, somewhere in Europe, England were going to have to lose on this great run of theirs in the Five Nations Championship. They had luck against France, and today their luck ran out. Wales stood firm. It was a brilliant display of defensive rugby.
Well, there we are, 10 points to 9 for Wales. It's a red-letter day for Wales as the nation rejoices at this unexpected victory after 3 heavy defeats at England's hands. For England, no Triple Crown and no unique 3rd Grand Slam in a row.